Just days before New Year's Eve, while millions of Americans were preparing to celebrate, federal agents quietly stopped a terror attack that could have changed countless lives forever. The suspect was only 18 years old, and the warning signs were hiding in plain sight. New Year's Eve is meant to symbolize hope and new beginnings. Streets are filled with crowds, cities light up with celebrations, and people let their guard down. But in late December, behind the scenes in North Carolina, law enforcement agencies were racing against time. What they uncovered was not just a threat, it was a chilling example of how modern extremism can develop silently, online. The suspect in this case was an 18-year-old male, with no significant criminal history. By all outward appearances, he lived an ordinary life. There were no obvious warning signs in his daily routine, no history of violence that stood out. However, investigators later revealed that much of his activity happened online, in digital spaces where extremist ideas can spread quickly and quietly. According to federal authorities, the suspect allegedly became influenced by extremist propaganda through online platforms. This process did not happen overnight. Experts describe it as a gradual shift, where exposure to radical content slowly changes beliefs, language, and eventually intent. This pattern of online radicalization has become increasingly common, especially among young individuals seeking identity or purpose. Investigators say the plan focused on a large public gathering during New Year's celebrations. Crowded locations were chosen because of the chaos and confusion that naturally comes with holiday events. Loud noise, movement, and large crowds can provide cover for someone intending to cause mass harm. The timing alone made the situation extremely dangerous. The suspect allegedly discussed attack methods online and expressed admiration for past terrorist acts. These conversations raised serious red flags for authorities. Every online interaction leaves a digital footprint, and in this case, those footprints were being closely monitored. What may have seemed like private discussions were actually building a clear picture of intent. Federal agents became aware of the suspect through intelligence monitoring and analysis of online behavior. This was not random surveillance, but targeted observation based on credible threats. Investigators carefully gathered evidence while making sure public safety was not compromised. Once they confirmed the seriousness of the plot, they moved quickly and decisively. The arrest took place before the suspect could act. There was no public confrontation and no injuries. Officials later described the operation as preventative, emphasizing that the goal was to stop violence before it ever reached the public. In this case, timing was everything, and intervention came just in time.
He was preparing for jihad, and innocent people were going to die, and we're very, very fortunate they did not.
After the arrest, the suspect was charged under federal terrorism-related statutes. Prosecutors made it clear that this was not a joke or online role-playing. In the eyes of the law, credible threats and active planning are taken extremely seriously. If convicted, the suspect could face decades in prison, potentially even life, depending on how the case proceeds. This case highlights a growing concern across the United States: online radicalization and lone actor threats. Unlike traditional terrorist networks, these plots often develop in isolation. There are no meetings in dark rooms, no obvious organizations, just individuals consuming content behind screens. This makes detection far more difficult. Law enforcement agencies now rely heavily on digital intelligence, behavioral analysis, and early intervention. However, these efforts raise difficult questions. Where does free speech end and real-world danger begin? How early should authorities step in? These debates continue to shape modern counter-terrorism strategies. Officials emphasize that public cooperation plays a major role in preventing attacks. Online tips, reports of suspicious behavior, and attention to warning signs can make a real difference. In this situation, intervention meant that families across North Carolina and beyond were able to celebrate New Year's Eve safely, unaware of how close they came to disaster. This plot was stopped in time, but many others have not been. The case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the digital world we live in and how easily dangerous ideas can spread. It also reminds us that prevention, awareness, and timely action can save lives. Do you believe social media companies should take more responsibility in stopping extremist content? Or does the responsibility lie elsewhere? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more in-depth true crime stories like this, Make sure to subscribe and stay with us.